Hamas does not represent the Palestinian people. Hamas uses Palestinian civilians as human shields, and innocent Palestinian families are suffering greatly because of that.
Yeah, those strong remarks from President Biden during last night's address there, noting the pain Hamas is inflicting on its own people.
Here in Florida, both Israel and Palestinian leaders and organizations are responding to the president's remarks.
Joining us this morning from the Council on American Islamic Relations is Media and Outreach Director Wilfredo Ruiz. First of all, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
We do appreciate your time.
Peace
Thank you, sir.
With you.
As we just heard last night, the president addressed the nation about the suffering of Palestinian people. Do you feel the aid the president is requesting, because it's billions of dollars going to Israel and $100 million going to Gaza? Do you, first of all, your reaction with that, with the discrepancy?
I believe what was essential and what we were expecting from the president is a light at the end of the tunnel, meaning words to end the conflict, words that relating to a ceasefire, words relating to dozens and dozens of American citizens that are to date, as we are speaking, in Gaza, and the Department of State is not caring for the American citizens at Gaza while they evacuated the American citizens in Israel. So that double treatment, that treatment to those American citizens that are in Gaza and those American citizens that are in Israel on equal treatment, obvious unequal treatment, is hurting our community. Also, when we're not speaking about opening the tap water, listen, tap water to 2.1 million people. Like he said, they are not Hamas, and they're deprived of water, food, and medicines. That collective punishment is tantamount to a war crime. And we are allowing that to happen while giving billions on aid to bomb and kill, but not asking our president to put as a condition to follow the rules of war and the laws of war, especially preventing this, what appears to be a soon to happen ethnic cleansing of tens of thousands of Palestinians from the Gaza Strip that are just innocent, like a plumber, an electrician, a teacher. They have nothing to do to who's governing them. We have seen these 2.1 million people's claims fall into deaf ears as if they were all Hamas, as if they were not human beings, and in the case of the American citizens there, as if they were second-class American citizens.
You have to argue, though, as well, you know, Israel was attacked and their response, I know a lot of people are saying, you know, Israel has gone too far here, but what would your response be to the reaction from Israel? They say they're just trying to protect their people, they want to stop Hamas. What would your reaction be to that?
Every state have the right under international law to protect themselves as Israel, but every nation do have an international right to the self-determination and independence, and that's the root cause of the problem. A military occupation of Palestinian lands going generational for more than 75 years. The Palestinians are either occupied in the West Bank or in a 17-year blockade if you live in the open prison of Gaza. These are not conditions. These are not conditions respecting the human rights of those 6-7 million Palestinians that just aspire to have their own land, to govern themselves, and that's an inalienable right of all nations of the world that no nation can take from them. They aspire, as Mexico, as the United States, as Canada and Spain, to celebrate one day their Independence Day, and that's an inalienable right of them.
But the issue here, I guess, is, you know, Israelis would argue that Hamas, which is the leading government in Gaza, continues to bomb them. So they're saying, well, listen, how do we protect ourselves here?
But then you need to listen and not have, if someone, listen to this example, if someone is 18 years old and have reached their adultness in Gaza, they have been born, raised, and became an adult under a blockade, a land blockade, a maritime blockade, an air blockade that prevent them from carrying lives with dignity. These are people in open air prisons. You cannot receive visitors. You cannot exit when you wish. So we're putting a burden on 2.1 million innocent lives of the government that they're having, and we have like a double standard. We don't put that burden on the Cuban people when we talk about then, hey, Cuban people are responsible for the government they have. Are we doing a collective punishment on the Cuban people? So why are we doing a collective punishment and saying nothing when Israel deprived of water 2.1 billion people? That's a war crime by definition. You cannot deprive of water, medicine, and food for over a week 2.1 million people. That's a war crime, and our ally is committing a war crime in our time, and we're saying absolutely nothing.
War crimes are happening on both sides, and obviously this is
exactly, but Israel's are not being denounced as such.
We've run out of time. My apologies. I hope you'll come back, because we would love to talk about you about the Islamophobia, the threats that are going on around our country as well as around the world. Will, thanks so much for being with us. We do hope you'll come back.
Stay in peace.
Thank you, sir.